How you really would, and welcome to my review for Noah. This is the new blockbuster movie that's recently just come out in cinemas in the UK. It's already been out in the US I think for a little while now, so I apologise if this is kind of like an old review and you kind of think like, oh, not another Noah review in a sense. This is my opinion of course the film and my thoughts and opinions. It's worth doing a review for, so let's talk about Noah. Why did you break up the sun? So Noah is directed by the guy who did Black Swan, another heavily psychological, damaging movie in a sense, if that's a correct term. That film I thought was very well done. I thought it had some very fantastic performances, and I felt it was a really good tale of Black Swan and how someone's so committed to a role and actually slowly breaking down and becoming it in a sense. I thought it was very intense and very shockingly disturbing for the certification that it got. This movie, I was only curious to see it mainly for the director's name and the fact that it's his full version, his full director's cut is on screen and you're seeing his 100% version was a more of an appealing reason to go and watch it. The trailers I saw a few times, I wasn't really that bothered. It looked a bit meh, okay, Noah's Ark, yeah, the typical story, whatever. Blockbuster action movie, disaster movie, yay. And actually what I got was a much deeper movie, actually about choices, about characters, and basically a theory or an interpretation of the original scriptures from Noah's Ark in a sense. And I felt it was very bold and I actually quite enjoyed it. It's a very entertaining movie, but for different reasons in a sense. Now the actual storyline, of course, if you're not familiar with Noah's Ark, is basically Noah has been chosen by God. There's going to be a giant flood going to come that's going to basically destroy the wicked, all the hate, all the evil of mankind in a sense, because we're destroying this world. And Noah's been entrusted to build an ark to save all the first animals, 2 pairs of each animal, and of course, when the new world comes, there is still life in a sense. And they touch upon a few things which I thought was generally quite interesting, and throughout the entire movie, Noah is faced by, of course, some decisions. Of course, he's a big task, and there's choices. By he sees the wicked, he sees the evil, and he kind of gets a bit, psychopathy a little bit in places. But I'm going to go into that a little later. The actual movies are very different from what I was expecting. I've used the trailer a few times, at the poster, whatever. You're kind of thinking Noah's Ark, done with kind of thing, but it's actually a lot more than that. There's a factor in this movie, which is my keyword in this review, my factor, which they do not show in the trailers at all, and I'm quite interested to see. I can understand the fact that they didn't show it. I'm not going to review what it is, I'm not going to say anything, but you'll know it the moment you see it. It practically gives it away within the opening. The opening of the movie actually talks about a certain element that's in the movie, and I felt it was different than I was expecting. Okay, I mean, it makes sense, I suppose, but I think for people that are like heavily religious, or people that basically have known that tale for so long, they might not actually enjoy this movie for that reason. For me, I felt it was quite a good little add-on to the actual story in a sense, and it kind of made sense, really, in all fairness, for what that element is. But I think for some people really might get a bit pissed off maybe, or might be just really like, oh, that doesn't say it in the Bible, that doesn't say it in this, doesn't say it in that. I'm thinking, well, it's interpretation, it's a theory, it's an idea, and I personally had no problem with it. I quite enjoyed it, but for some people might do, in all fairness. That's just what I want to say about that side. The 3-act structure I think is very well paced. I think it's very intense, very interesting, very strong character performances. Russell Crowe's in this movie playing Noah, of course. Really fantastic performance by him. He's a really good actor. This is nice to see him actually do something a little different. He hasn't really wowed me since Gladiator. Man of Steel, he was okay, I suppose, in that movie, but there hasn't been a role for him, which I can say that's Russell Crowe at his best in a sense. And this is actually a really great full performance, and you can definitely see it's a man that's been chosen by a higher power to take out this task, and I can understand it, his side of it, but at the end of the day, which I liked about the fact that the 3rd act of the movie and the finale aspect is about the idea of free will and the free choice. Adam and Eve had free choice, free will to eat that apple on the branch. if the temptation is there or if the sign is there, you know, you will take it or you won't. And I like the idea of that. You know, it's interesting ideas like the fact of like, you know, why won't God speak to me? Why won't He, you know, tell me what should I not do in a sense? Because He's not basically ordering you. He's not telling you like a boss, you know, go and do this, go and do this and that. He's giving you the option to, and I really like they touch upon that. And it gets definitely a lot darker. This is a very heavy psychological movie for a 12 certification, I have to say, definitely. I think there's certain sequences where like it's heavily suggested rape, there's animal cruelty, well, CGI animals in a sense, but you know, be ripped apart. There's some quite some practical bloody effects in places, definitely a lot of kills, definitely for sure. And yeah, I mean, I think it definitely pushed that boundary for a 12, and I think it's very hard hitting, definitely. The third act of the movie focuses on after the events of the Noah's Ark, of course, of the floods came, and about them on the actual ark. Without giving away too much, you've probably already heard from spoilers, probably people by now. Things go a little bit crazy, and you know, it kind of touches upon a side which I kind of hate about worshipping a higher power for absolutely no reason. You know, to kind of justify the actions that Russell Crowe's character was doing in that third act, I felt was getting really uncomfortable for me as an actual viewer. But once the ending of the movie finished, and you know, it kind of had a good, you know, a little conversation, good dollar pieces, it made sense, and I liked the outcome of that. It was getting a bit like, this is getting a bit too nutty now, and this is one of the reasons why I don't like films like this in a sense, or these type of movies. In terms of like the story and religious aspects and stuff like that. I mean, Passion of the Christ, Mel Gibson, fucking hell, that got huge criticism, that got huge things. You know, and that's a very controversial movie today, and it's still a very touchy subject to touch upon because it was a theory, it was an idea, and of course Mel Gibson's just freaking crazy by himself. But anyway, I think overall Noah is a really well acted movie. Of course, you got Russell Crowe, you got Ray Winstone, Emma Watson, some fantastic performances. Ray Winstone was really good in this movie also, really great performance by him, so different from what I've seen him recently. It's nice to see him play an actual interesting character, a character that actually believes that he's high power himself, he's a god, he takes life, he gives life in a sense, and he has men at his back in a sense, and he will take that arc, and I love the idea of that. It's a good, interesting idea, and it kind of shows all the wrong reasons of man, but at the same time, you can't really feel sorry for him, you can't really feel like, you know, there's times where you think like, yeah, I'm on his side definitely, but there's other times thinking, actually no, you're an evil little bastard, and you know, it's interesting. Emma Watson's character also in this movie is really well done, really good performance, you know, just super teasy, the fact that she's freaking hot and one day she will get a kid off because, you know, they're very close to in this movie, I'm for sure, but a really good performance for her character. I really enjoyed the performance, really well done. Good action sequences as well, good visual effects. CGI's been dodgy in places. Would I recommend a cinema watch? Definitely, for sure, why not? It's a pretty good film, entertaining, got my money's worth in a sense. But if you didn't watch it at the cinema, you wouldn't miss out that much. It's definitely a Blu-ray watch, it's definitely a cinema watch, depending on what mood you're in, but it's not what you think. I would say go in with an open mind. If you've seen Black Swan, you know exactly what movie you're going in for. And just keep in mind, this is not your typical kind of, you know, Sunday day kind of story time at church in a sense. Let's just say that. So Noah, that's been my review for the film. I hope you enjoyed watching this review. What did you think of the movie? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? Any opinions? Comment down below. So in the meantime, Andrew from Movie to Me.